Okay, so here I am at the, I guess I should say welcome to Tim Time Projects. Tim here. Just so you don't think it's AI generated, because, there'd be a lot of people wanting to create an AI video for a 45-year-old radio that doesn't work right. Anyhow, I'm working on the Vacuum Fluorescent Display, the VFD. Remember in the green, how it was real dim. And I looked at a couple of things, and I read some comments. Other people had said, that it's probably capacitors on the board, and a lot of those are really good possibilities. Earlier on, I had replaced a lot of the capacitors on this board. There's a circuit right in here which provides the voltages that you need, and they're kind of odd voltages nonetheless. But I was testing them. And you can watch down here on my little doohickey what I found. It tells you for the actual heater element, which would be kind of like the cathode as well, you should have about 2.5 to 3.5 volts, and that would be AC. So let's put this on AC, and we'll stick our probe in there, and I'm ending up with around 4 volts. So maybe a bit on the high side. Actually, it's dropping down, so it's closer. And that voltage should actually be raised above what the, I guess raised below. It should be a negative. I'll show you what I mean. It should be a negative voltage. So we'll look at that. It should have a DC, basically a DC lift on it. So we'll look at that. Let me put that to that. We're going to go to the ground. And the minus 32 volts. So basically, this should be really negative. So it's got a 32 volt minus DC on it, and then the AC wave rides on that. And that's what it's supposed to be. So if you ever have to test this, the actual filament voltage is from one end to the other. That's AC. But then it should also have a bias on it, because it makes it really negative. Then you need kind of the opposite for the grid and the segments. So I'm here checking the grids and the segments. Let's go on DC. And you should check those in respect to the cathode, or in respect to your heater, your filament. That's the word I'm looking for. So here we'll check that. And you should be getting like some high voltage, like 20 to 30. And I'm getting this, and I'm looking, except for that one, but that one I believe is the light that is always off. So there's actually a spacer. There's 12 segments, and the one never comes on. I think it's just a space. That one's a little bit more lively, 11. But all these voltages are very low. So I may not be a rocket scientist, but I did think about one thing. Yes, it's a DC voltage. However, this thing spends its time. Well, that's not what I want. This thing spends its time basically toggling the voltage on and off, and it does it so fast that your eyes don't notice it. But I think if we go to scope, and we're still going to tell a DC voltage, so let me get that all set up here. Oh, menu. Coupling, we're going to go DC. All right, and then I should turn that back off. Let's see which probe I have. We'll go with the ×1 probe. Probe type ×1. Okay. Now let's check those same couple of terminals. I'm going to need a little proby lead so I can get in there on that, because I'm going to test it from the same location. just this will do fine. This will work just fine. Yeah, right. Probably electrocute myself. All right, so that goes into there. Okay, so there we're looking at. That is the pulses turning it on and off, on and off. Because the way this would work is first you would light up one of the 7 segments on the digit. You know, there's, for the 8, for instance, there's one on one top, middle, and bottom, then 4 on each side, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to just say an 8, you're going to tell all 7 of those to be lit up, but you have to turn that segment on, or that grid on. So it turns that grid on and then turns it back off, and it moves to the next one. And the next one might be a 1, so you're only going to have 2 segments lit up. So you light up 2 segments, and then the grid comes on. Then it moves to the next one. But again, it does this so fast, and then it works its way to the end and starts over again. So here's what we're actually seeing. If you were looking for just one digit, it might be a lot more realistic on your voltmeter than it is here. But here I'm showing 36 volts. That's when it peaks out. That's exactly what it should be. But my voltmeter can't calculate that. It's just averaging it, and it's coming up with, I don't know, 1, 2 volts. But what we're really seeing is 36 volts. Let me just grab another one. So we'll start the first one we came to. You can see that. Again, 36, 37 volts. Let me see what that is. That's going to be a grid. So I should have 2 grids and then a segment. So we'll see how the grids don't come on quite as much. Let's see. Depending on what digit you're lighting up to. Yeah, this grid must be the out digit because it's showing me nothing. This must be the space digit that's there. So this will be a segment, and that'll have a lot more. Because it might be telling, I don't know what it's telling it, but anyhow, you would expect to see more on the segments, I would think. Then we come back to another grid, and again, you see that's not telling it as much. So if I change the frequency, we'll see it more often. Let's see. There it is there. All right, so that does make sense. Oh gosh, let me turn this off. Before I short something out. That does make a lot more sense then. I was looking at everything I found was telling me I should be seeing around 36 volts, and I'm not seeing anything near that. But then I started to think, well, wait a minute. They're probably talking about it in a static situation with just one light or just one digit. This thing has a whole multiplexing setup to set up into it. So I think we can now safely say that, let me make sure here. Yeah, I think now we can safely say that my voltages are correct to the display. So it's not, if it's anything, it's the display's fault now. There we go. Now I can rest easier. So on this board, I do have one more capacitor that I want to change, and I might as well do it. It's way down in here. And I found there's another board back in here. Let me take this. I have an antenna plugged into it just in case I transmit. I usually put the dummy load. There's another board back in here that's got a couple of caps on it. And then the power supply board. I don't think I'm going to have a big cap like that laying around. I can see what it is and order it. Probably same with this one, 4700. But that's just a short video to show you that my my display is probably the fault here. Somebody had mentioned that they actually build a new display for it. I was curious if they made a video or anything, how they did it or what they used, because I'm thinking if I use a new display, if I went with a new display, if I couldn't get a VTF or a vacuum fluorescent display, I'd be getting rid of some of the parts here that are actually drivers. I wouldn't need those. All I'd need is the basically the part that recognizes the numbers coming in and it's changing those to digital. And I believe that's this guy down in here. This one right here, this IC. All right, well, that about sums that up. Let me see if I can get these capacitors changed, and we're going to put this thing back together. Well, I didn't have one of the caps I needed for that control board, so I only replaced one. I have to wait on the other one. However, I did have all the caps I needed for the, what's this, the audio or the AF board. So, you can watch me do them old school. I didn't feel like turning on the vacuum sucker. Looks like some of these have been messed with. I know the this big one right here is a Nichicon. So is the one I just put in there. So I'm not replacing that one. You can see it's got the somebody didn't clean off their solder work. Let's pull out. This should be the 100. And it is marked positive, so it's be the 100 microfarad at 10 volts. And I have, I think, another Nichicon 100 at 25 volts. And the positive goes there, the negative goes there. And in it goes. And the tab's down a little bit there. Stick a little bit of solder on it. And there you go. My friend Art asked me how I get my fat fingers in these. I look at his fingers and his are just as fat, so I don't know what he's talking about. Let's see. So I got that one, that one, that one, that one. I got two more to do down here. A 1 microfarad at 50. I think I already used one of these. Let's see, this guy up here is, I think, a 1 microfarad at 50. Well, you don't care. Anyhow, something I did find when I was doing this board, this brown stuff in here, all around that inductor. I don't know what that is, if it was just glue to keep that from vibrating, but it's basically breaking right off. And I can see some green underneath it on the leads. So I'm going to move that at least away from the leads and clean the green off. First I was wondering if maybe that's where that capacitor was replaced. In case it was, the whole thing came off. Well, you do what you can, you know. Let me look in there and see if that's green in there as well. And I cleaned all the green off the terminals here. But the board's all done other than that. So I'll put it back in. All right, I got the AF board back in right here. There's 3 rows of connectors, and it would be for the 3 different boxes that you would put in. From what I read, the first row is the default. That's the one, if you don't have the memory set, what it always goes back to. And the first spot they recommend you do not put the 440 for the UHF boxes, because they could receive a distortion or interference from the transformer. So in this one, it is the 144 in its place, so we're good there. You can put them actually in any order, these 3 connectors back here, the 3 pins, however you want to plug them in. Let's see what else. I did find the TX board is underneath where the satellite board would be, and that would be over here. And I see a couple standoffs. Maybe I can unscrew them and get that whole board out, but don't know. We'll find out. I'm thinking, I looked at those capacitors on the receive board and they didn't look too bad. So, what the heck? They didn't look too bad until I dug into it. So I'm going to dig into the transmit board, the TX board next, and take a look and see.